working. It's working. 1 second.
I'm gonna make sure that nobody showed up again. I'll just walk
Yes,
out.
please. Thank you.
That looks better.
Showed up again. I'll just walk
Yes,
out.
please. Thank you.
That looks better.
Again. I'll just walk
Yes,
out.
please. Thank you.
That looks better.
It takes a while to find the link. So
On my screen, it says it's live, so I don't know if it is or not.
no, it,
Yeah.
it is live, but to stream it to our website, that's
Okay.
Hey, I'm on.
That's what I'm waiting for to start the meeting.
There's nobody there. I just checked.
Okay. All right, we are good to go. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, regular session of the Board of the School Trustees of the School City of East Chicago. The time is now 6:08 p.m. The place is the School City of East Chicago Administration, Building 1401 East 144th Street, East Chicago, Indiana 46312. This meeting is being aired via live stream at www.scec.k12.in.us. The links can always be found there for this meeting as well as all the other meetings. First, this is a meeting of the school board in via live stream for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Rhonda, can we please have a roll call?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Present.
trustee Jones,
Present.
trustee Williams,
Present.
trustee Smith,
Present.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Present. Next, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Flag,
the United
United
States
States of America,
and to the republic
the republic
stands
for which is
one nation,
One
under
nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty
justice
and
for all.
justice.
Next, we will have a presentation portion. Superintendent Wright.
Yes, we have a presentation by one of the Chicago Central's greatest teachers, Mr. Dave Lane, who works really, really hard to make sure that everything goes well. He's always student first, everybody else second. And without Mr. Lane, a lot of great things will not happen. So we're honored to have one of our GOATs, the greatest of all times, to present us with on what's going on for our senior class. Mr. Lane, I can't say how much I thank you for all that you do for our kids, for all that you do for our community. So we have a presentation by the great Mr. Lane.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Wright. I'm honored to be here at this meeting. I have a PowerPoint I've put together. Let me start off like I start off the end of the day announcements at the high school. All right, everyone. We're going to give you a taste of some of the things we've planned at Central High School, and the team that I have assembled. Oh, that's the wrong button. You know, I knew I was going to do that. The team that I have assembled has, I think, exceeded my expectations as far as planning events for the class of 2020 at Central High School. And some of the things we planned have just blown up, and I couldn't be more excited and honored to tell you about them. So here are the end of the year events that we have planned. Some have already happened, and more exciting stuff to come. The very first thing I wanted to talk to you about is the committee designed and then distributed yard signs to all of our seniors. And as you can tell, we went out, we got mini buses provided by Director of Transportation, Robert Garcia. And we decorated 4 mini buses. You can see it in the middle picture. Class of 2020, we are proud of you. We practiced, we were very safe. Everyone wore their masks when we delivered. You can see Miss Norton Smith has an example of one. And then there's a couple pictures of when they were being made. And then there's also a couple pictures of when they were delivered. So we successfully delivered almost 240 signs. The guidance counselors put together the eligible seniors, and we got them all out there with a couple hiccups, some address changes, but I believe now all of our seniors have a sign in their yard, and it made me proud to be part of the team. And it really made, I saw a lot of parents with tears in their eyes when we drove up on the bus and presented the signs, and the kids were very excited. It was covered by DCTV News. So that was a great day. There is a senior website, Google Classroom. If there's a senior out there listening or their parent who for some reason didn't get a sign, I've asked for those parents and seniors to notify me on Google Classroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, I'm sorry, I saw your call. I missed it. I was in the car. My phone been acting crazy. What's up?
You're not on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, the second event that I was glad to be a part of and our team put together is the Adopt a Senior program. And this was in 2 phases. The school and the faculty and staff, organized by Miss Sasha Tinajero, every senior was adopted by a teacher or staff member, including one of our teachers, Mr. Trey, adopted 12 kids. It was amazing. I'm very proud of him. But then the community, not to be outdone, came out in full force, and we established a Facebook page, Adopt a Senior CHS 2020, and over 1,000 community members joined. And every senior who joined was adopted multiple times by our community members. And I have a picture of one of our community members presenting a gift from the community. I have a picture of Miss Sasha presenting to one of our seniors, and a picture of a shirt that those sponsors can wear with pride that says, I adopted a East Chicago Central senior. So those are the 2 events that have already taken place, with many more to come, but those are the 2 I had pictures of. The rest of the events are upcoming. First one is this Friday. The cap and gown rollouts will take place Friday, May 22nd. And in order to be safe, social distancing, and to make sure we're being careful, the students will remain in their vehicles. We will have 3 stations set up in the football field parking lot. The first station will be set up for the students to pick up their caps and gowns. Those will be distributed by their English teacher. If they have a balance, the gentleman who runs the company that sells the kids' cap and gown will be there, so parents and students can try to pay off their balances. The second station will be a gift provided by the School City of East Chicago. Superintendent Ms. Wright and the Board of Trustees purchased that gift that will be distributed to them. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but it's a pretty awesome gift. And then the third station will be some of the teachers who sponsored our kids wanted to be there to honk their horns and present their gifts at that time. So that I think is going to be a unique day. Some schools just pass them out. We made it a celebration. So extra special thank you to allow that to happen. I know I speak for a bunch of teachers. We miss seeing the kids' faces. So this is going to be an opportunity for us to celebrate them while they pick up their caps and gowns.
Mr. Lane, what time does that event happen?
That event begins at 1 o'clock and we're hoping to conclude by 4 o'clock. I believe it's on there. It might be blocked by the pictures. Yeah. When I move my pictures, do your guys' pictures move as well?
Yeah, it says on there 1 p.m. Item
Okay.
rollout at 1 p.m.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
all gear
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Some of the students had a balance before we left for quarantine, and some volunteer teachers have been calling every kid, first of all, to let them know to come that time, and then to let them know if they had a balance. So at the end of the presentation, I have a whole lot of thank yous. I hope that's okay, because it's been a true group effort. Do you guys want me to stop and answer questions, or go through the whole thing and then answer questions? Any thoughts?
Mr. Lane, can you go through the PowerPoint presentation? We'll write down questions and ask him after you finish your presentation.
Yes, ma'am. That'd be my pleasure. All right. So the football field football parking lot cap and gown rollout is this Friday, May 22nd, starting at 1 o'clock. We don't want kids in the building yet, from what I understand. So we're doing that outside, and hoping that most of the kids will come so we can use the cap and gowns for the future celebrations. The company that deals with the cap and gowns is Herf Jones, and all students have received a phone call if they have a balance to get a hold of Herf Jones to try to take care of that balance. And then they also can pay cash on the day of the rollout, the distribution. Prizes and celebration. It's going to be a great day. I'm really looking forward to that day. Next event that we have planned is the scheduled last day of school. Miss Wright and myself met with the chief of police and a couple of his assistants, and put together the last day of school all district parade. The all district parade begins at 10 a.m. All entries should line up at Central High School by 9 a.m. in the Central High School football parking lot. Every school in the district is allowed 2 entries per school. Coach Garcia, I actually confirmed with Ms. Alvarez. Sylvia Alvarez is going to take phone calls and emails from all the different schools within the district to confirm that they're going to have cars or buses or floats in the parade. That parade lineup begins at 9 a.m. and the parade itself begins at 10. Officer Orange has given us a great route that is going to encompass the entire city. So instead of, we had talked about various options, instead of having the kids in the parade, we're bringing the parade to the kids. We're asking all the kids and their families the kids should be in their caps and gowns, and the yard should be decorated, balloons, streamer, whatever. You know how EC does. We're gonna go all out for the parade and have the best parade ever. On May 28th, that begins at 10 a.m. Sylvia Alvarez will be taking phone calls and emails from the various principals to confirm that they're going to have floats in the parade. And that parade route, once again, will be for the entire city. All of these items that I'm displaying are on the district website. Thank you to Jeremy Torres. And on the school website, thank you to Katie Wotanovich. And I can never pronounce her name. Katie Wolt. All right, our next exciting event is the Honors and Awards. Unfortunately, this is going to be done through Zoom. I'm still trying to make it special for the kids. We usually have a ceremony in the auditorium and then a dinner for the top 20 distinguished graduates. On the screen, you see the graduates' names, and these are kids I wasn't gonna cry, but these are kids I couldn't be more proud of. They're amazing kids, and I really am excited about honoring them through Zoom, and some awards and various special things have been ordered for them as well. So the honors and awards, all senior teachers are filling out their awards for most valuable senior and most improved senior and most likely to brighten your day within each senior teacher's classroom. And that's one of my favorite days of the year. So we're going to make it happen through Zoom. Then after that, we're going to honor our top 20 distinguished graduates, our Foundations of East Chicago scholarship recipients, and then some special awards will be announced as well. So I'm really hoping to get as many kids in on that Zoom celebration as possible. There will be a couple of speeches and guest appearances and just another celebration of our seniors. Once again, that's May 29th. I put 3 o'clock subject to change because I wanted to make sure parents are off of work. I know it's going to be relatively long. When we do it, when school's in session, we do it during school time. So I thought 3 o'clock would be safe. It's not quite locked in, but it's about as locked in as I can do. Our next event is going to be senior portraits as they walk across the stage. The senior counselors are going to be finalizing the marching list by Tuesday, June 2nd at 2 o'clock. Mr. Garcia, correct me if I'm wrong. Grades are due that previous Friday. Is that correct?
Yep, you're correct. They're due that Friday, the 29th at 3 o'clock. And then by the weekend, by the end of the weekend, we should have a confirmed roster for our graduates.
So, you know, we're hoping all the kids finish strong and make it to graduation. We felt very sad that they didn't get the opportunity to walk across the stage. So Ms. Wright said, why don't we just put the stage up and set appointment times and they can come on in to the gym, socially distancing and minimum number of kids at a time. And we're going to take each senior who signs up picture walking across the stage. Those pictures, I actually just solidified it with the photographer, are going to be the week of June 1st through 5th. I'm hoping to take care of those in 2 days, the 2nd and 3rd of June. We're doing by appointment because we want to limit the number of seniors who come. I believe, Ms. Wright, correct me if I'm wrong, we said they can bring 2 family members each.
Yes,
But that's all.
that's
And
it.
we're going to give them the feel of walking across the stage, even though we can't do it in the traditional sense. You know, I tell every kid that asks me, nothing's traditional, but they're going to have some things that they'll never forget. They can always say, we were the class that got these special opportunities. All right, so that's the pictures. And then the big event, the huge event that we're all waiting for, June 7th, which was the original commencement day. We're going to do a drive-through commencement celebration, but this is going to be like no other commencement ever. I'd like to give an extra special shout out to Katrina Alexander, who helped plan this event. We're going to go in 6 stations. This graduates will line up in the parking lot by the tennis court, and we will line them up first based on honors and awards. So we're going to have our class officers, our honor society kids, our technical honor society kids in the first group. Then the second group will be alphabetical. We have, I might be losing count, so far 6 outside groups that have donated gifts for the kids. So after we gather them, they're going to remain in their vehicles and drive up to the first gift station where they'll receive a pretty cool gift basket. Then there's going to be some music in case there's a congestion. So I'm going to have some music playing, Pomp and Circumstance, some other favorites. Then on the 4th section, there's going to be some kids, some adults who are going to radio which car is next. They're going to have a placard in their window and then drive up to the Circle Drive. And that's going to be their moment to shine. We're going to have a video stream of all the pictures we took the previous week. And we're going to make it as special as we possibly can in vehicles. There will be gifts, music, special recognition of each graduate, and times arranged based on honors and awards, and then alphabetical order. All right, so that seems like a lot. So what I've established is a Google Classroom page for all senior students and their parents. And right now we have 199 kids on there. So every time I get a text or a phone call or an email, I remind them to be checking this Google Classroom page, which is also on the school district website. All announcements are updated daily. and the class code is on there so kids can see it. I allow the 2020 kids and their parents on the page. We don't allow advertising or outside sources, just the kids and their parents and teachers and counselors and principals giving information as well. So I believe for now, that's what I got. Are there any questions?
I got a question, Mr. Lane.
Yes, sir, Mr. Jones.
What time is that senior pictures?
The picture appointment times will be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. They have the whole day. We're do 10 kids every 20 minutes. And that schedule would get all 240 of them through as long as they make the appointments. We cannot let any kid come at any time because I've been told very strict rules as far as gatherings. That's correct, right, Ms. Wright?
Absolutely, Mr. Lane.
So we're being safe. I hope you noticed in all the pictures of gift giving and creating, everyone's wearing their masks, and we were practicing social distancing on the bus, limiting the number of people. So we're trying our hardest to do everything we can and still be safe at the same time. I almost wore my mask to the meeting, but I decided it was okay.
Mr. Lane, could you give me that website again to see if those seniors have been adopted? I've only been contacted by 3, but I've adopted 6, and I've only heard from 3.
So the Facebook page is Adopt a Senior CHS Class of 2020.
Okay.
And that's through Facebook. And I'm going to shout, I hope you guys are okay with me shouting out a bunch of people, because none of these things could be possible without a lot of help. So when questions are done, I'm going to do a plug for all the people who have helped put these things together.
Is that only on Facebook, Mr. Lane?
For the Adopt a Senior?
Yes.
There were 2. The one that the faculty and staff did was through our school email, and then Miss Sasha arranged a Zoom meeting, and that's how we got all those kids adopted. From what I understand, the Adopt a Senior is through Facebook, but I can put you in touch. You know what? I take that back, sir. Some celebrities have adopted our kids, and they contacted me to do it anonymously. So I don't want to tell you the names. I'm sure you can probably guess. So if you have a couple kids in mind or some community members in mind, I'd be happy to put them together with our awesome kids.
All right, I'll give you a call because I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know nothing about it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I will arrange. Not gonna cry, but some of the people who were adopted by people within the field they want to go to. And now I've gotten some texts from parents like a mentorship has been created, and it's just been, we thought it'd be great. It's been beyond great. Like I said,
It
over
is.
people
It's a
have
great idea.
200 kids. So Coach Williams, I will put you in touch with a couple awesome students who would be great for you to mentor.
Me too, Mr. Lane.
Yes, sir, Mr. Jones. I got you all. I believe most of you have my number, but I'll pass it out. I probably don't want to do it in public, even though probably most everyone has it already. Okay.
Mr.
Yes.
Lane,
Yes,
Mr. Lane,
ma'am.
we also need to announce that we have tentative plans of a traditional graduation, brick and mortar, and the date is July 18th. That's
Yes,
tentative.
ma'am. I was going to announce that as a tentative, but we're
Yes.
still waiting to see where the
Right.
chips fall as far as large gatherings. The committee and Ms. Wright and Mr. Garcia and I have explored all options, including the football field. And we've got a couple schools that have given us some advice about setting the seats up 6 feet apart. So this entire committee and this entire body wants the kids to have something live. We just want it to be safe and practical. So that's why we're doing all these other things. But in July, we want to do it live if we possibly can. And I mean, I do everything I can to make that happen. And I'm sure everyone here does the same.
Mr. Lane, the only thing I have is the honors and awards, the link, if you could send
Yes.
it to the board members also. I know that's my ultimate favorite thing to go to is a top 20 night. Really makes you as a board member realize the reasons why it's important. Just to hear a student praise a teacher as well as a teacher to praise a student and just to know little things. I think that's my favorite night.
Well, while I have everyone's attention, my Zoom account only has 100, so I'm going to need help setting up a link where more than 100 people can come. And I know people in the district have links. So that's why I haven't announced that site yet, because I'm still trying to I don't want to limit it to only 100 people. So.
Okay, I'm sure.
Never.
I'm sure.
We'll make sure we get you what you need, Mr. Lane.
Thank you. Other questions before I shout out a whole bunch of people?
Before you start shouting out, because I know you're going to shout out everyone and take 0 credit for
It's
what
not
you're
that
doing.
long.
Right, right.
And you're also not going to cry, but I thank you so much for just stepping
Yes.
up. And, a lot of people don't go above and beyond. And even when I was in school, you have always done that. And I've talked to you beforehand. This is a time when leaders come and show their leadership, and you have definitely done that. All the people on our committee, we meet every Thursday, and it's not always fun, but everyone's working for the main goal, and that's the student, the senior we want to see walk across the stage. And one of our committee members says, we're going to celebrate, but we're not going to congregate. And I think that's definitely a theme that we have planned, because we want to have the celebration done. We just want to make sure it's in a healthy manner. So I'm with you with all your thank yous, but thank you, Mr. Lane, for always being selfish and selfless. And please thank your family. I tell you all the time for letting them share you with us, because you do take a lot of time in East Chicago. So again, thank you so much.
I appreciate that more than I can tell you. I have some friends who tell me I'm an honorary EC person now because I've been around so long. EC's in my blood. I have love for my EC family beyond words that I can express. So that means a lot. Thank you, Coach V. Thank you
And
very
then one other thing I forgot. The reason why we came up with the I adopted a senior shirt was because we wanted to find a way, because the community has come just showing out like crazy. So we wanted to find a way to help benefit our other classes. So a portion of what I adopted a senior shirt is going to go to our junior class for their festivities for next year. And I mean, as of right now, we don't know what that's looking like or if they'll be able to fundraise. So I think it was a great thing that we kind of came together to see it benefit someone else. So
that was a great idea. And actually the junior class contacted me and asked what they could do to help these seniors. So I mean, it's been an outpouring of love, an outpouring of support. It's been an outpouring of community coming together. And it's just been special. I had kids who were crying tears, how upset they were, who are now crying tears of joy because the community is really stepping up. So I mean, I know I'm a softie and I sugarcoat things, but this one isn't sugarcoated. It's just the honest truth that people have really stepped up to the plate to help our kids. And it's been amazing. And I thank the board very much for letting me present, because it's been something I've really been proud of. So just to share that, let me thank a few people. Thank you very much, Superintendent Wright, for putting it all together. Thank you to the Board of Trustees. Thank you to Director of Transportation, Robert Garcia, for giving us the buses to deliver these gifts. Thank you, Principal Eddie Garcia, and President Vanessa Hernandez Orange, for attending all our meetings as well. Special thank you to everyone on the graduation committee, and an extra special thank you to Jeremy Torres, who spent hours and hours and hours helping us create the signs and the gifts and just everything we need. Chair people of the various committees include Ms. Sasha Tinajero, Ms. Cindy Wilson, Ms. Diana Darden, Ms. Sylvia Alvarez, Ms. Katrina Alexander, Ms. Christina Torres, Ms. Trudy Smith Norton, and Ms. Paola Castaneda. That wasn't too long, I'm sorry. But it has been a group effort, and I appreciate everyone's help, and I very much appreciate the board allowing me to present. More surprises to come that I didn't want to announce. Just know we're doing everything we can for our kids, and the community and the schools have really come together. So thank you, everyone. Any questions, please call me or check out the Google Classroom page as well.
Thank you, Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Ms. Lane.
Thank you.
I've been practicing this. I'm really bad at it, but that's right there.
It's better today. Okay, next we will have the formal part of the meeting, and we'll move on to the business portion. The first item for the business portion is approval of distribution of payroll. What is the pleasure of the board? I think,
Need a motion.
can I have a motion?
Madam President, I make a motion for approval of distribution of payroll.
Trustee Smith makes a motion for approval. Trustee Rodriguez, I think you're trying to, now you could speak.
Yeah, I saw that. Sorry.
It's okay. So we have a motion. I'll second the motion. Any questions? Round of roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes, next we have the approval of claim dockets. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Any questions? I just had one comment, Superintendent Wright. I know we've always asked to make sure that those who are resigning do an exit interview. I just want to make sure that that's happening still, even though it's a different look that we have, but let's make sure we have the exit interviews for those who are resigning.
Yes, okay, I'll make sure.
Anything else? Someone? Round of roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes, item number 3, approval of personnel report. Oh, the wrong one. I'm sorry. Now I have approval of personnel report.
Madam President, I move to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez
Personnel
moves to
report.
approve the motion.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Any questions? Round of roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 4, approval of responsive classroom contracted services for 2020-2021 school year. Ms. Wright.
Yes, Responsive Classroom is a student-centered social and emotional learning approach to teaching and discipline. It is comprised of a set of research and evidence-based practices designed to create safe, joyful, and engaging lessons in school communities for both teachers and students. Both Washington and Lincoln teachers will be engaged in 4 days of training, tentatively August 3rd through 6th. The professional development will be paid from Title IV funds.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move to make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Any questions?
Yes, Superintendent Wright, I did do some research on this program, which you should know I was gonna do that. And I found it to be very, very helpful for academic and social. And this is one of the programs that when we went to our conference that we wanted to bring back, addressing social issues and, changing the culture, the climate and the culture of our students to try to get them to, be more attentive in learning. And I'm very happy we have this. But I just wanted to ask you, is this volunteer, the teachers, is this volunteer or mandated?
It's for it's all for Washington, and Lincoln is for every teacher in their building.
Okay.
But what I will say is that the district is working on and is almost complete with the district-wide social-emotional district-wide plan. So probably likely in August, you will present for the board, but our district social-emotional plan is near completion.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I do have a couple questions. One, because of the pandemic, and it's just now a regular topic. In the actual paperwork that we received, it showed what would happen if we were in school. So it showed the layout of how everything would happen in school. Are they planning on doing this if we happen to not have school? Has that been discussed?
Well, if we don't have school, then the training will have to take place via Zoom.
Okay.
So everything is tentative. We won't have any idea what's the next year is going to look like probably until July. So we do have some alternative plans. So Zoom will be our alternative plan.
Okay, I just want to make sure we talk to the company because they said that they needed payment 10 days prior to the first session. So if we're giving them the money and then we have to abruptly stop school again, then what happens then? So just to make sure that they will continue these sessions via Zoom.
Right.
Okay.
The professional development occurs before school starts, but so that would take place during Zoom. So the teachers, once they learn from the professional development, they take that and back into their classrooms. So this professional development will not involve the kids at this point. It's just only the teachers.
Okay, and I definitely, I'm all for social emotional and culture climate professional development for our students. For our staff, definitely something that's needed. We've discussed this. I've been asking since Dr. McNulty about having this. So I'm happy that this is actually happening. My question to you is though, since we're having 2 schools that are going to be going through a program, are they presenting to the rest of the schools? Would the rest of the schools be able to be involved in the social emotional program also, or is that just something that's in the works?
Well, they can share all the information that they learn that they can share. But part of the social emotional that we have district wide, every 4th Thursday, I think it is, all the social workers are responsible for training the teachers on different social emotional skills. So in addition to training training their individual buildings on the social emotional lessons, those principals can attend that workshop on August 3rd through the 5th to take that back into their classroom.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and will our social workers also be there too?
We can make that happen, yes.
Yeah, I mean, if they have to present, so that probably be
right.
And then my last thing is with the professional developments, I don't know if we've ever done surveys for professional developments. Has that ever been done?
No, we need to evaluate our professional development. So
correct.
What's going to happen moving forward when we have professional development and we spend money? I, as a superintendent and assistant superintendent, will have to ask for evidence that this is being implemented in the building. No longer will we just sign up for professional development and then everything sits in the corner. So any professional development that our teachers and our administrators attend, they will be required to provide evidence that actually they're using this professional development.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all my questions, concerns. Anyone else? Rhonda, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes. Madam President, have we moved to approve first?
Yes, you had the first motion was by you, and then
Okay.
second was by Trustee Smith.
Okay.
Trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
You're on mute.
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. The next item is approval of first reading of policy 8450, control of casual contact communicable diseases. Mr. Harris, would you like to
Yes.
touch base on that?
I will. This is up on first reading. Obviously, it's something that will, after passage on first reading, will go to the policy committee. But basically what this policy is intended to do is to develop procedures and kind of protocol for the school staff to follow in instances of any casual contact communicable diseases. So while we're thinking about the virus and the issues related to COVID-19, what this policy does is kind of open it up beyond just COVID-19 and also looks at other illnesses that are out there like diphtheria, scarlet fever, etc. The idea is when you see symptoms associated with all those different illnesses, what are the steps that you follow in order to ensure the protection of all the other students and staff, etc. So this particular policy focuses on watching for these symptoms for the children. I know there was a question asked by one of the trustees about whether it extended beyond just children, but as it's written right now, it's focused on just the children and making sure that the staff is trained to notice these things and what they should do in the event one of the children exhibits any of these symptoms. So there are certain protocols that this policy says that will be followed, and it would be pursuant to the health department, our local health department, and also our county health department. So between now and our next committee meeting, we're gonna gather those documents so we can review them, so we'll know what's being adopted by policy by incorporating the protocol of those two departments. So we don't have that now, and I'm sure that they may not have it at all. We may prompt our local health department or the county health department to make sure that they have this protocol in place. And once they do, we can also adopt it. So we'll start working on that now. But I do recommend approval of this policy on first reading.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move to approve the first reading.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for the approval of first reading.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Any questions? Rhonda, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 6, approval of interlocal agreement between the school city of East Chicago and the city of East Chicago. Superintendent Wright?
Yes, the resolution states that the Board of Trustees of the School City of East Chicago, the interlocal agreement between the School City of East Chicago and the City of East Chicago is approved, and the superintendent is authorized to sign any and all documentation, provided any necessary approvals, and coordinate effective shared access to our facilities. Pretty much what this is just saying is that you all are giving me permission to enter into agreements with the city in order to make sure that they have equal access to events that are pertinent to the community.
And if I can add, yeah, I was just going to jump in and add to that. So we had a discussion about this some time ago. We had been trying to figure out a way to work best with the city on shared access to our facilities. So I think that would be for all city-owned facilities and all school-owned facilities. The city, through its park board, has already approved the interlocal agreement that you see in your packet. And a corresponding resolution as well, just like our resolution. And basically what the agreement does, it just memorializes our commitment to cooperate as best as we can. Obviously that cooperation is subject to the specific negotiations between our superintendent, and for them, it would be the director of their park board to work on scheduling, making sure it doesn't conflict with an event we may already have. And that's the reason the resolution reads that someone needs to be designated to work through all those details so that we don't just have a standalone agreement without kind of anyone making sure that it happens correctly. So Ms. Wright, if you approve this, would be the person responsible for making sure this goes smoothly. And I'd recommend approval.
Okay. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move approval, make a motion for approval.
Trustee Smith makes a motion for approval. I'll second the motion. Any questions?
Hey,
I
Joe,
do have one.
this,
I'm sorry, go
we
ahead.
talked about this prior to this, right? And
Yes.
the verbiage was bad and you just kind of cleaned it up with this new process?
Yeah, so when we
Just
talked
move-
about it, a while back now, but when we talked about it, they had presented us with a form agreement. And
Right.
we didn't prefer it, put it that way. We didn't really prefer the form of that agreement. So the agreement that you see, I actually drafted. So I
Okay,
did the agreement, and this is the one that I did following our conversation about all this. And
Okay.
it more accurately reflects our basic spirit of cooperation and includes the provisions that protect our interests, like making sure that they need to provide proof of insurance in the event they use one of our facilities and vice versa, little things like that. So,
okay.
but yeah, I think it's in proper form and is good to go. I will point out that on page 3 of the agreement itself, of the interlocal agreement, there's a blank there for us to fill out in the event that there's any funds that need to be collected as a result of the use of any of the shared facilities. Someone specifically should be designated who's going to be responsible for that. I could have just put Leela's name in there, assuming she might be the person responsible for that, but I didn't want to do that without some discussion. But I did want to point that out, that is a blank that needs to be filled in, and it's at our discretion to include who will be responsible for that. So,
Thank you.
yep.
Trustee Rodriguez, you had a comment?
Yeah, I had more of a question. So what I'm looking at this in this agreement is more, you have, so the superintendent would be acting as a liaison, but as it relates to any properties being used, it's still going to come before the board is what I'm hearing.
Yes, and the resolution. Yeah, and
And
the
the only reason why I
resolution.
say that, because it's since it's part of asset, I think the board does have to make some sort of a determination in terms of any usage of any of our facilities, right? Or our assets.
So I guess it depends on the specifics. It probably would be easier to have that conversation if we had an instance that we were going to refer to, but I think this is just general approval that we are going to allow the city to use our facilities and vice versa. And it's not about a specific request. So yeah, I do anticipate that when those specifics come up, it'll still be brought up during a board meeting. And the resolution, you'll see the last whereas clause says, whereas the superintendent shall keep the board apprised of the activities associated with the interlocal agreement as part of her regular report to the board during its public meetings. So it is intended that she is still keeping the board in the loop on all these activities.
So this is, so basically what it's doing. Ooh, I hear an echo.
It's you. Ooh. That's odd.
Coach V, if you mute everybody and then unmute everybody, it should fix.
Oh, there it goes.
Ah.
Hold on, Joelle.
Joelle, unmute yourself.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I just want to be clear.
Yes.
If the superintendent, regardless whoever the superintendent's going to be, they're going to have the authority to make a decision on school property, along with the city's park board or park director. Because obviously, they have the park has a board too. So that director is going to also make the decision without going in front of the park board, or is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, this isn't intended to circumvent anything coming before the board. It just designates a person to deal with the park department on coordinating those things. So if part of your regular procedure will be, as these things come up, it still comes before the board like they do now. This doesn't change that in any way. This just demonstrates to to the city via its park department, that they do have the ability to request the use of the facilities. But if we still need specifics in terms of what the date is, what is it for, all those things, and the superintendent will still bring that before the board. It's just she's authorized to start that process with them to coordinate it. Otherwise, we really wouldn't have anything formal in place, and it wouldn't be clear to the city that, yes, it is okay for them to use our facilities generally. But of course, someone has to coordinate dates, specifics, all those things, and that's what the superintendent will do. And ultimately, once we get to that point, the superintendent's the person who will sign off on it and approving the date in question, the time, all those things. But yeah, it's still coming before the board.
Okay.
Any other questions? Rhonda, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 7, approval of donations to Lincoln Elementary School. Ms. Wright? You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, rewind. Lincoln is requesting a donation of $4,000 to purchase books for students. The donation is awarded from First Books.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, move to approve or make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Any questions? Ms. Wright, are these books just staying within the library, within the school, or students taking them home? Just curiosity.
They're just donated to the school, so we'll let Ms. Sharp determine whether they're going to be allowed to be taken out of the building or if they are allowed to remain in the library.
Okay. Any other questions? Rhonda, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. The next item we have is superintendent's remarks.
Yes, once again, I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Lane. You are such an asset to our district. Also, the bus barn construction has been completed, and the transportation department has been relocated to the new bus barn. Due to COVID-19, we are going to postpone our ribbon cutting ceremony, but the bus barn construction has been completed, and the buses are at the bus barn.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to trustee remarks. Are there any trustee remarks? I know I have to, I have a couple. First and foremost, Mr. Lane, Mr. Garcia, thank you for coming onto the call with us. Just showing what's going on at Central High School, especially with their seniors. Again, you're the man, Mr. Lane, all around good guy. We all love you dearly. Just want to say we're almost done. Teachers, administrators, students, we're almost done. So I know after we passed out those senior posters, a lot of students ended up starting their work a little bit late, but they're getting it done, and that's all that matters. We want seniors to graduate. So seniors or parents of seniors or whoever shares this, please make sure all seniors are getting work done, all students getting their work done. I want to also say thank you to the committees that have been going on. The Adopt a Senior page has only been successful, and I have to say this, yes, because of the people who are running it, but only because of our community. If it was not for them, this would not have been successful. The fact that you couldn't put on a picture and people would be adopted 5 times in not even 5 minutes, I mean, that's amazing. Even when there was a little hiccups, the community came back and they still came to adopt. I think this class, I was in a dollar store and a student told me, Coach V, thank you so much for what you guys are doing. We didn't expect this. And that almost brought me to tears because I don't think students expect for their community to really be behind them. That's what they don't see that, but we really are. And I tell them, I go, hey, it's not just the basketball team or the football team. We're behind all of our students, and this is a great way of showing it. So I cannot thank the city of East Chicago and all those who are sponsoring and all those that are just picking up seniors. That means even more to me than absolutely anything, because they'll be happy. The interlocal agreement, I want to say passing that is important on multiple reasons. One, we're finally at the point where our city and our school city are working together. I think that's awesome. So items with the bus barn that have popped up, the city has helped in correcting some of that. Even just doing the parade, we're being escorted by police, and mind you, my police officer probably doesn't have a choice, but the fact that the mayor is allowing that to happen. ECTV News has been coming around multiple times to just support what the school city is doing. I think that's awesome. And, you know, people think of it as being political. I think about we're finally worried about the student rather than the political affiliation. And this is what I've wanted for an extremely long time. We have council people who are doing scholarships, who are adopting, who are finding ways to donate. I mean, we are trying in the city of East Chicago together to do what's best for our students. And I'm so proud of being a Cardinal, of being a resident of my city. That's all for me. Our next meeting will be on June.
Madam President.
I'm sorry, Trustee Rodriguez.
Yeah, I did have just one item to talk about.
Okay.
With regards to absentee voting, indianavoters.com is the link. If you go to my voters portal, you can actually register to receive an application or to fill out an application online to receive your ballot. Because there's a lot of folks that are not going to be going to the polls on June 2nd because of the COVID-19 issues. Now, we have over 20,000 absentee ballots that have been received already, and that's over 20,000, but that was, I think, 3 days ago. So just keep in mind, it's still not too late to receive that ballot. You got till tomorrow at 11:59 p.m., 5/21/2020, 11:59 p.m. You can go to indianavoters.com, go into your My Voter portal, and fill out your application there and hit submit, and we'll receive it within seconds. That'll allow you to vote, especially for our seniors that are turning over or that are turning 18. They have registered to vote. Please, this would be a great opportunity to show some strength in East Chicago as well as throughout Lake County. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee.
Coach V, I know I'm long-winded. Can I say one more thing?
Sure. It's the
Okay.
trustee remarks, but you could go ahead and say.
Well, I just got a text from a student, and I really wanted to share it with the board. And Miss Wright, it's Falon Riley, one of our favorites. And she said, I love the community and the school is coming together for the kids, and the class of 2020 will be forever grateful. And that's from the senior class vice president. So I just thought I'd share that.
Thank you, Mr. Lane.
Madam President, I had something when the trustees are done.
Okay, trustees anymore? Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to mention, I was working with the superintendent today on an initiative that's going on in Gary that we've been invited to participate in. Mayor Jerome Prince and Borden Dairy have teamed up for an initiative to distribute free milk. And they've offered to provide free milk to our families. And they're doing that this Saturday at the Genesis Convention Center at 10 a.m. They're donating gallons of milk for residents throughout Northwest Indiana to come out and have that milk. So they've arranged with us for us to get 500 gallons of milk that Superintendent Wright has agreed to help coordinate, pick up, and distribute next week to the families. So we really wanted to say thank you to Mayor Jerome Prince and the city of Gary for inviting us to participate in that process.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mayor Prince.
Yes, thank you.
Great man.
So our next Date and time for the meeting will be on June 1st, and that will be at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Madam President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. On roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Thank you very much,
Okay.
everyone.